roommate and I started NetBooks software a little over a year ago in January. We were sort of the guinea pigs of the first Stanford CS 193P. Not the one on iTunes, actually the one before that with Paul Marcus and Evan Dahl, Marcos, sorry. And we took our final project and we put it on the App Store, and sort of needed to have a company in order to receive the checks from Apple was the idea. And then, so it was air guitar was our first project, and then we're kind of burnt out from that, and so we put out this little app called Shotgun. To date, it's done about 6 million downloads in the Shotgun free, and sort of convinced us that it was worth taking this full time when we graduated, and we did that. We currently have, I think we've completed 7 or 8 applications now, Shotgun Free, Shotgun Pro. It's all about using the accelerometer, so it actually is gesture detection. Air guitar is the same way, strumming, whammying. We did a punch app called POW. We did 2 apps that will help you kind of find music in your music library. We did a promotion for Ubisoft to promote their game Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood. And then we did an app to promote a movie called Newton Chronicles. Devin Aoki, John Malkovich, Ron Perlman, Thomas Jane, that never hit the store because it was in review for 3 months, which was awesome. But yeah, so yeah, I think we've done we've done fairly well so far, and sort of we like teaching, so we ended up teaching these things called the iPhone Bootcamp. It's based in New York. Actually, this man right here, Jonathan Sarno, is the organizer of it. It's in New York, Boston. There was one in Melbourne. Was it Melbourne? London. A couple of other places. I actually see someone who took one of ours. Hi, Stuart. How's it going? And so there's always these meetups sort of before the boot camps, and then the meetups started happening without even having a boot camp. And so that's sort of how I ended up here today. So one of the things that's really interesting about being an iPhone company is I remember this day, so we have office space in a place called the Plug and Play Tech Center. It's another kind of shared working space, kind of like Hacker Dojo. We have a little cube. It's, you know, it's not super glorious, but we see people and aren't just each other every day, which is kind of what got depressing and why everyone it is in the first place. And so we get back from lunch and we see this email in our inbox, you know, in-app purchase and free applications. And we're just like, you know, face palm, like, okay, sit down, like scrap all of our plans for the next day. Like, let's figure out what does this mean for us in our business, right? Like, Shotgun Free is a free application. Like, what do we do with that? Our future applications is freemium dead. Like, you know, all of our things, you know, Shotgun Free, Shotgun Pro. Like, that model has been hugely successful. It's sort of like one of the main business models sort of on the App Store. Yeah, is this dead? Is it alive? And so we sort of chat amongst ourselves. Now today, hey, you know, there's an iPad, right? There's a tablet. Like, so we sit around and be like, well, what does this mean for us as developers? And that question sort of intimately intertwined with what does this mean for us as consumers, right? So we sat around and came up with some open questions that we had and sort of chatted to try to, I guess, because we already knew that I was going to show up to here tonight, so kind of serving both purposes. But the idea of this is to try to help us all understand what does this mean for us as developers and what does this mean for us as consumers. So the way I sort of see this going down is, one, I prepared like 6 questions, and I'm going to ask them to the audience in a town hall format. So I'm going to ask the question. I have opinions on them, but I'm sure you do too, and mine aren't necessarily the right ones. So I like to hear what everyone has to say. There's another, anyway. So the first question is, what role does the iPad play in my life? I guess I was kind of wondering this before. I was kind of waiting for Steve to tell me this, and Steve kind of did. But sort of target demographic, what do you think the target demographic is? What are the target use cases? How do I use it? Do I use it in my home? Do I use it on the go? Do I use it all of the above? So does anyone want to be the first bold soul to try to talk?
But she can't use it anymore because it's so small, she's getting headaches by trying to read the text and everything on that. So she basically said, you know, when the iPad comes out, that's it. I mean, her iPhone will probably just turn into nothing but a telephone, and everything she does will be on the iPad. I mean, I just thought that was, you know, she told me that yesterday, and I just thought that was a really, you know, kind of interesting thing. You know, I mean, the screen on the iPhone is amazing, and it's powerful in its way, but on the other hand, yeah, you're staring at tiny little text and tiny little images all the time.
Right. One of the things that really is going to be a win, I've got one app that teaches you photography, and we always had trouble with the videos because we wanted to show how to use Photoshop, and trying to squeeze that into the iPhone screen was very tricky. I've also got 3 apps under development to teach you iPhone programming, and I wanted to have screen recordings of using Xcode and using Interface Builder, and cramming them onto the iPhone just didn't work very well. So I think as a training vehicle where you can put movies and big screenshots and stuff like that, the iPad's going to be a real win.
Yeah.
From my side, I was somewhat disappointed at the iPad because it looks just like a big iPod Touch, and in that sense, it's just like evolutionary, opposed to revolutionary, which was what we really expected. We expected like new gestures, new things, a lot of hype around. So I think that they played safe. They're really like leveraging their app store. They're still kind of like trying to leverage all the investment they had there. And they are counting on the development community actually to innovate, to be able, because at the end of the day, it's a new form factor. It's people are going to use it in different ways that probably they even envision. And like with being able to now you have space, to put all your fingers there. So now you really can start innovating as far as like what kind of applications you can do with all your hands, all your fingers, all the kind of stuff which it's on our land and not on their land. So I think that from that perspective, it's exciting because it opens a lot of opportunities and for innovation.
I guess I've been waiting about 10 years for this. And I brought my axe with me. You do air guitar. I'm a VJ, and I use this. This is a graphics tablet that controls visual synthesizer. And it's never been released. There's a platform underneath it to be able to create an interface like this very quickly. I'm going to be releasing the code for, basically it's a wrapper for interfaces like this. And so if you go to muse.com/tr3, it'll give you a bit of a description. And so for people who are performers, as a control surface for visuals and music, I think the iPad is just amazing.